Well, not only do we have Valentine's Day tomorrow, but today is Ash Wednesday, so the start of Lent. So a lot of us on Fridays and today, obviously, with the start of Lent, don't eat meat on Fridays or today on Ash Wednesday. So I thought I'd do a romantic seafood dish because I happen to love shrimp. And this is a lemon shrimp dish that you can throw together in minutes. Perfect for a date night. And I'm going to do it over pasta. So this is something that you don't have to slave hours and hours in the kitchen over. I'm just going to drop some fettuccine. Angel hair pasta would work fine. Spaghetti noodles would work fine. A penne would be really nice. So I'm just going to get my pasta started. Anne, are you feeling romantic today?
Oh,
I know, people always say, you know, it's just a Hallmark holiday, but, you know, it's still, it's winter in Wisconsin. I think you just got to do fun things on some of the holidays, even if you don't spend a ton of money. Just do something special, whether it be a special breakfast or a special dinner like we're making tonight. So my pasta's in. Always important to season that pasta water with a little bit of salt. And I'm going to get to work on my lemony shrimp recipe. So I'm starting out with some olive oil in a nice big skillet. I like to use a big skillet like this, and a couple tablespoons of olive oil is what we're looking for. Because if you use a nice big skillet, it tends to cook things very, very quickly. So when you come home from work after a long day, and you know Valentine's Day is on a weeknight, this is just something you can throw together in minutes. Or on a Friday, if you don't want to go out to a fish fry, this is something that you could do in no time Friday after work. It's even dinner party worthy. You can get your, I'm cutting up some red pepper. I wanted to throw some red in here for Valentine's Day to be a little romantic. And red pepper is really good for you too. So I thought I'd just julienne some pepper, slice it into thin strip, and we'll get that sauteing here. I happen to love it. I'm even getting, Ireland loves shrimp, and now she's starting to like red pepper. It's one of those vegetables I put on a veggie and dip platter over and over again, and finally she started to move on from the celery and the cucumbers and started trying the peppers, and she's like, oh, these are pretty good because they look so pretty. So I just want to get those going a little bit. Now, garlic and shrimp, there's no better combination in my book, and I figure, you know, if a couple people, if the whole family's eating garlic, you all can't cancel each other out. So I'm just taking a knife and smashing up about 4 cloves of fresh garlic. I'm just going to give it a rough chop. How's my pepper doing? Looking really good. Now I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of butter. Get that in with my oil because I'm going to add my shrimp, and the butter is going to give us a really nice flavor. You could certainly just stick with olive oil and lighten up this recipe. That would be just fine. Picked up about a pound and a half of peeled deveined shrimp. I love serving shrimp at home because it costs so much less than it does out at a restaurant, and it cooks so quickly. I mean, shrimp cooks quicker than chicken. And for this recipe, you don't need a whole ton of it. If you know, only have or can afford about a quarter pound, half pound of shrimp, that's going to work just fine because we've got the pasta to kind of stretch things out. I like to buy the big 2-pound bags of shrimp, the frozen, and just pull out what I need when I need it. Even if you come home after a long day and you forgot to pull it out to let it defrost in the refrigerator, you can just run some cool water over it in your kitchen colander and it'll defrost for you in no time. So you notice I'm putting the shrimp, kind of spreading it out so it's not on top of each other. I'm doing that because I want that shrimp to get a little bit of color. I'm going to season it with a little bit of salt and pepper. And I'm going to just chop my garlic. I don't want big pieces of garlic in here, so I'm just going to chop it up a little bit more. I'm actually headed to Manitowoc tomorrow for a big night out. That's what I'm going to be doing Valentine's Day night, so I'm not going to be cooking. That one's sold out. We're headed to a place called Christopher's, but I hope you'll join us for our next big night out. We're going someplace fun. We're always having fun places that we're going for our big night out, so go to our website and you'll find out where we're going in March. And I've got a luncheon. I've got a busy Valentine's Day. Tomorrow I'm going to be at a luncheon in Oconto Falls. So I hope you'll come out and say hi. I'm going to be doing a little dessert recipe, presenting that, and doing a cookbook signing. So I hope you'll come out and see me. It's a big salad luncheon put on by the hospital, I guess, a fundraiser. So, okay. Just turning over my shrimp. See when they're starting to get pink? And this has just been a minute or so. It's just such a quick fix. Ann and I are both really excited about the chocolate recipes. Speaking of chocolate, the American Club sent over the most beautiful chocolates that they're doing for Valentine's Day. Too late to get them shipped in time for tomorrow, but how gorgeous are these? They almost look too pretty to eat. They're dark chocolate covered in a raspberry ganache in the shape of a heart, but I think we'll manage eating them. And then this is fun for Valentine's Day. Festival Foods is doing all sorts of different things, including these giant chocolate dipped strawberries that you can just pick up in the deli. How delicious do those look? Okay, in goes my garlic. And when you're cooking with fresh garlic, we've talked about this before, so important not to burn it. You want to get that great garlic flavor, but once it's, you know, basically burns, it gets very, very bitter. So once you get your fresh garlic into the pan, it's really just about 30 seconds around, keeping it moving until you just start to really smell the garlic and your kitchen starts to smell really wonderful like an Italian restaurant. Then you know it's time to start adding the rest of the ingredients. Now it helps when we add some other things in the pan with it. This is really something you have to be careful of when there's nothing else but garlic in the pan. Because we have the pepper and the shrimp, we're going to be just fine. Okay, now fresh lemon juice and lemon zest I'm going to add in just a minute. I also have a half of a cup of dry white wine, Ann, which I might have to get you to open this. All right, so I'm going to take some fresh lemon and just use my microplane, and this is just going to kind of pump up. It's a lemon shrimp recipe. It's going to pump up the lemon flavor. You could just also use a box cheese grater, but this is a gadget I love. Take half of this lemon. Sure we don't get any seeds in there. Use some fresh lemon juice. It's a real light sauce. You're really gonna, taste the shrimp and the garlic. We're not gonna use any heavy cream. Just the lemon juice and a half of a cup of dry white wine. Now, if you don't like cooking with wine, and some people don't, or you don't feel like buying it, chicken stock is really a great way in a lot of recipes. It doesn't work for all of them, but that's a great substitute for using wine in this recipe in particular. So I'm just going to cook this for a second or two. And I'm going to get to work on draining my pasta. Don't want to overcook my pasta. My fettuccine noodles, but we talked about that earlier. You could use angel hair, which cooks really quickly. You can use spaghetti noodles, whatever type of pasta you want. This is also great over rice. Got a nice pretty plate that we're going to throw our pasta on. And now I've got some flat leaf parsley that I'm just going to chop up. Whenever you're using parsley, in a recipe, I like to use the Italian or flat leaf parsley. I think it has so much more flavor than the curly parsley, which is really meant best for just decorating a plate. Okay, time to finish off this dish. And if you want to do this for company, some of the things that you could have done ahead of time, you know, parsley can be chopped, the red pepper can be chopped, you can have the lemon zested, you can even have the pasta cooked. Oh, almost forgot to add in my artichoke hearts. The recipe calls for 1 jar or 1 can of artichoke hearts. They could be marinated or not, it does not matter. Just want to drain them really well and add those, and that really goes well with the lemon in there too, and adds another component to the dish. If you're not a big fan of artichoke hearts, you can leave them out. I happen to love them. And they really, I just think, complement the shrimp. Now at this point, we want that sauce. Can you see the sauce? It's very much, it's, you know, not a thick sauce at all, and it's not going to be a thick sauce. This isn't going to be a cream sauce, but I want to thicken the sauce a little bit. So this is a tip and a trick to do this. I've just got a little bit of extra butter, cold butter, that we just took out of the fridge right before the show started, about 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to take that cold butter, throw it in there with my shrimp, take a little whisk off the heat, and that cold butter is actually going to, and you can actually see it happening right now, just thicken up that sauce just a little bit. This is a French technique. And as it melts and we have it off the heat, it's going to just make that sauce a little bit creamy, and that way it'll adhere to the pasta a little bit more. You can put the pasta right in here and toss it, or just put the pasta as we did on a plate already. So that's a nice little tip to thicken up a sauce without using flour or heavy cream. Just throw a little dab of butter. And that's what a lot of the restaurants do when they're doing a nice quick pan sauce. A little pat of cool butter toward the end. All right, so there you go. Got our shrimp and that wonderful light lemony sauce, the artichokes. Make sure I got plenty of sauce. You could do some cheese on there, but you certainly don't have to. I am going to do some fresh parsley just to really dress it up. It's romantic, so we want it to look really pretty. So there you go, my lemony shrimp and pasta recipe. You can also garnish it with some fresh lemon slices to dress it up even more. Recipes on the website. You can also pick it up at any area Festival of Foods.